All right, hello guys. So, welcome back to the stream. We're gonna be doing, a little bit of a New Year's special, I guess you would say. Nothing crazy. Just kind of want to discuss with you guys some of the future plans for the next year. Get any feedback from you guys or video ideas you guys want me to do. If anybody does come up with some good video ideas, I do have basically a document that I'm gonna maybe be writing down things as we go. Also, new background as well. If you do follow the Instagram, you probably saw what it somewhat looks like. Now, I didn't show the whole thing, but I changed it a bit for Christmas. I wanted to get basically some curtains and stuff so that my voice wouldn't more or less carry through the entire basement and make it very difficult to block echo through my mic. And so I think I did that. I haven't had any issues with echo since I've been, testing things out in this new one. You guys won't even see this setup in videos until probably the very end of this week, probably. Um, but yeah, so let me know how everybody's doing. Hope everybody had a good holiday and all of that. I'm trying to type and talk at the same time. It's not going well. I can barely speak English as it is, let alone try to format some things on a Google Doc. But yeah. Hi Matthew, how are you? I will say my fantasy football team absolutely cooked. Absolutely cooked. How can HBO and the showrunners course correct with House of the Dragon, or is it beyond repair in some aspects? Maybe video idea? Yeah, okay, I could do something like that. I'm already doing like a House of the Dragon retrospective season 2, so or not season 2, all of House of the Dragon so far that we've gotten. So part of that would be in that video more than likely, but I would probably wouldn't go in depth about like the future. I'd probably just say, leave it on like kind of a cliffhanger, like can they recover? But I do think that's an interesting question. I personally think I think that right now the show is now capped. Like it only can be so good just because a lot of the main characters that will be involved within the show don't function for me anymore, or they're on the very cusp of not functioning anymore. Like Rhaenyra is a character that is almost at the point where she doesn't function as a character anymore, but she's not as bad as like Alicent and Daemon, for instance, for me. So it could get to a certain point where like I think it's like maybe a 7 out of 10. Like it's good but flawed. That's definitely possible going forward. Maybe that they could fix some of the overarching issues, but I don't know. Especially when you think about characters like Aegon, who is the best character of season 2, probably should be in a role where he's not nearly as prominent as he was in season 2 and maybe like the very end of season 1. So that's tough because that's probably one of the best characters of the show at the moment. Otto Hightower, it's still left up to see where that's going to go. Maybe that will be our character that is our look into, Alicent's other son, Daeron. Who knows? But yeah, that's definitely a very big possibility. But we'll see. I mean, we'll have to see with that. But that's a good video idea. It's a good video idea. Also, if you guys are coming in and you don't have a video idea or you don't have anything you want to talk about in that idea, I also taking feedback. If you guys have any feedback that you want to give me on the channel or things that you think I should improve on. But yeah, I think they're gonna keep Otto around longer in the show. Yeah, I think they definitely will, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing in the show because I think they need him. You really felt the difference in the quality of the show at King's Landing after the Otto Hightower character leaves King's Landing. So yeah, I definitely do think like that could be definitely a big thing. I'm noticing that my internet is slower right now. We're losing like some packet loss, which is very unfortunate. I'm not sure what's up with the internet today. Hold on. Yeah, the Wi-Fi center's on. I don't know. Having a little bit of internet issues today, but that's, is what it is. I'm glad to see you're still alive. I am still alive. I missed you in the last stream, Dakota. You should do a video on Cannibal the Dragon. I think he's a symbol of Robert Baratheon. I could do. Okay, let me put that in there. That's a good one because Cannibal is a dragon that could possibly feature in House of the Dragon moving forward. Albeit, I don't think so, to be honest. But that would be interesting to do. Talk about maybe outside of Cannibal, maybe do like a video on the dragons that were not shown in House of the Dragon or that have like barely gotten any time. That could be something that would be interesting to do. I will say within the future of the channel, I do have some more collabs coming out. If you guys didn't see my community post, we'll be doing a live show on Ricky's channel every month. Don't know exactly what days those are going to be. I think we have it planned for the live stream. It's going to be, I think, around the middle of January. I think. I know we had a date. I just can't remember when it was exactly. So I think we are going to be doing our first live stream on January 25th, if I'm correct on that one, unless that changes. But that should be hopefully pretty good. I got some collabs that I want to be planning out. I'm trying to, collab with more people. So if you guys do have people you want me to collab with, let me know. I would say, like, keep it to more smaller channels because I feel like it's just a different dynamic if I'm a very small channel trying to collab with people that are very big in the community. It just kind of feels like a weird dynamic, I guess, for me. But yeah. A video on Dorne's role in the end game of A Song of Ice and Fire. That could be a good one. I think Dorne's a really weird one because given the way that it seems like they're going to go with young Griff and the Martells as a whole, I could easily see them being wiped out, and maybe whether a blood connection to the Martells is what takes over. Dorne is going to be in a very weird spot in terms of the rulership of Dorne, because let's say Doran even survives, like, who then rules Dorne? Would it be one of the numerous children that Oberyn had? It's very interesting to think about Dorne as a whole because still very relevant to the kingdoms. They could even try and declare themselves as independent because of the wars that have gone on. It's entirely very difficult to invade Dorne. It's never truly actually been conquered, or at least conquered for that long. So Dorne's a really interesting one because they could have a similar like idea of like the North, where the North becomes independent as well, or the Iron Islands tries to be independent. We could see almost a flip of how like, oh yeah, everything was united at the beginning of the story, and by the end of it, you might have multiple kingdoms that are just kind of to themselves. Be interesting to see how that would go down. It would kind of be an interesting way of looking then at Aegon's conquest, which was this massive conquest that seems to be motivated by uniting Westeros. If we're going off of Aegon's dream because of the others, but I also think it was some of his own personal ambition, as well as seeing that the betterment of this country would be everybody to be united because there wouldn't be as many wars between each family and all this other stuff. So it'll be interesting to see, if George does go kind of where the show went, where, for instance, the Starks are independent. But yeah. Video idea. What is the best and worst things about the members of House Stark? I could do, okay, so Dakota, let me modify that a little bit. What if I did a best slash worst favorite? No, because worst would be hard to do. There's not enough Starks that we know a lot about to make a worst list. What if I ranked like the top 10 Starks? And like, then it would be like there's good and bad things about them because 10 of them's a lot. Like, there's not a ton of Starks that we know a lot of great detail about their lives, like who they were as people. So that could be interesting. Is that good enough? Is that good enough? Also, I really, especially for my Blackfire fans, I really tried to make sure that I got the Blackfire painting still in the new setup. Also, it's a little dark because I don't have a light yet. I want a light for like on that side of my face. So for you guys watching on the my left side of my face, your guys is looking at me as like the right. But I did want to get another lights, but for now, this kind of side's a little darker than the side is. But I did want to make sure I got the Blackfire, Game of Thrones, all that stuff in the background. The background is a little bit more zoomed in because it has to be. I mean, it doesn't have to be. I guess I could push my desk that way a little bit more, but I don't know. I think it's the best this way, but yeah. You guys get to see more of my face closer to it. Some of you would be happy about that. Some of you won't be happy about that. Also, the Targaryen sigil kind of gets blocked now because I'm more centralized, I guess. But yeah. Didn't get any notification about it. Maybe. Yeah, it's how YouTube be. It's also because I haven't been like live streaming consistently. So and also I was live streaming when I had other videos coming out that were scheduled. So it kind of all, YouTube had just, it was struggling. Whereas Ashley, she comes in always a little late. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. She likes to be, like Gandalf. Just, arrives when she means to. Those crafty Dornish, yes. Oh, I just realized that. Matthew also has the Direwolf sigil. Good for you. Good for you. Dakota getting drunk, of course. Of course. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you're doing well as Crab. How are you? Those Starks during the Age of Heroes is pretty brutal. It is true. Fly the Black Dragon. Yes, yes. I also have a lot of room now because this is basically a room down here now because the curtain basically covers like this entire, like I'm in a corner now. Like I have it like where there's only like a little part right there that's not covered. So I have a lot of like empty space in like on the walls and stuff that I want to put stuff, but I don't want to take things from my basement, or not my basement, my room, because my room's kind of like, it's not that full right now as it is. I've always felt that the Iron Islanders and Dornish are the weird outliers in Westeros. Yeah, I mean, I think if you even wrap in the Starks or the North as well, they all are just very different than what you would assume as like the normal, like Westerosi person would be, right? Like the Stormlanders, the Reach, the West, the Vale, I would throw in there as well. The Crownlands, the Riverlands, they all kind of, all are connected by at least religion and a lot of their customs and things like that. Whereas like the North, they're completely different from the South. Dornish is completely different from, the middle of Westeros, and the Iron Islanders specifically are way different. So yeah, it is something where it's like, of all the nations that would be independent, those would be like kind of the three. I was mainly talking about the main story, but yeah, that works. Okay, fair, fair. Still missing a Frey banner. Hey, the Frey banner, not coming. or if it would, it probably wouldn't be on screen because I don't really have any other places to put it. Like I can't, you guys can't see this, but like if I went any further this way, there's like a cabinet like right there with like my dad's like older stuff. So like like what you guys see right now in my background is the best you're gonna get. The only way I would have anything else in the background would be if I made this taller. Like if I zoomed out and pushed my desk that way, there'd be stuff maybe up here, but that's about it. Um, see, I knew Dakota was gonna make it sus. I knew Dakota was gonna make it sus. That's all I know. What would be Craster's sigil? I'd like to think it would be an other with a baby in its arms or something like that. Dakota just seems like a thing you would do, getting drunk on Christmas. I don't know. A crowned frozen pig, that'd be good. I know I need my Ashley for when the stream's this fall. It is true. It is true. Well, to be fair, I didn't title this like on a Song of Ice and Fire stream or anything like that. So, yeah, this is just one of those that I was gonna keep it casual. I'm probably gonna stream Friday as well for you guys. I don't know what we're gonna stream Friday yet, but yeah. Hi Maz, by the way, how are you? The hill tribes are very different from the rest. That's true. You know what'd be interesting? So okay, I think this might be a good idea. What if I did a video on the hill tribes? I'd have to do a lot of research on them. I don't know a lot of their history and things like that. Be better 2025. JK. Happy almost new year. Happy almost new year to you as well. It's kind of crept up on me. Not ready for school to be back in a little bit. But I'm glad I'm getting a lot of the big videos, like long videos done this week. I have posted, so for members and Patreon, I've already posted the reread for tomorrow. That's already up. And then I've also, I've basically got done the last retrospective part, but that'll go up probably after the stream when I get a thumbnail made, but that'll be up. That video is like an hour and 20, I think. So yeah, and then I also have the POV rankings, which is going to be another 40 minutes probably. So a lot of longer videos this week. And then I also want to do for Sunday, I believe. Yeah, Sunday I'll have a video up on Mira Reed and her parentage. That's what I did. See, Maz, we love to see it. I saw you cooking, by the way. I was like I was at church and I was looking at your dinner that you had made, I think on Christmas Eve. And man, it looked good. Get another flag? Maybe I will. Again, won't be in the background. If I get another flag, it definitely won't be in the background, unfortunately. But I could always like put one in here. I have like a really big space like that way. But yeah. Getting drunk on Christmas is exactly what Jesus intended, maybe. Is there enough info? I don't know. That's kind of the point is like, I don't know. I'd have to look into it. The tomahawk steak or the steak. It did look really good. Where do you think Alice Rivers went after the dance? I think she is the ghost of Highheart and relates to Jenny, who marries Duncan Targaryen. I don't know. I haven't really thought about her character that much, Cannibal. I don't have a great knowledge of her, to be honest. But I think that what you think of just not knowing a lot of the background information, I think makes a lot of sense, given that she does seem to have some magical effect. And it would be weird if she just disappeared, like, off the face of the planet. So, you know what? That's a good idea. I like doing videos a lot of the times on things I don't know a lot about because it makes me research them. And I feel better about the content I'm putting out. So maybe we'll do a video on that. Maybe we'll do a video on Alice. That'd be a good one. I like that. I like that idea. Throw the mountain clans and the hill tribes video. Discuss the weird small culture of Westeros, Skagos as well. Maybe we do a video. Okay, so what if we did a video on the lesser, like, known areas of Westeros? That could be interesting. Could be an interesting one, especially for some of the places we don't know a lot of their history about. How are you, Jesus? How are you? How's life? It's okay. It's okay, Grease. The House of the Dragon Writers don't know either. Well, the House of the Dragon Writers have just never read this book writing, so they don't know what this book means. So, and yes, of the 2 books I did choose to pick, I could have picked any books to put back here. I also can probably put like one more, but I chose The Clash of Kings for the reread, of course. And then Fire and Blood, I was just like, I just like the Fire and Blood cover. I won't lie. I like the Fire and Blood cover, and I have a love for that book because it's underappreciated. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, so back what I was saying earlier. I have a collab with JC and another creator that I've never collabed with in February. Don't have a date on that. The video idea is going to be around A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I'm hoping we get a trailer in January, is kind of why I'm planning that for February. Who knows, to be honest, but that'll probably either be like a preparation video for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms Season 1, or maybe it'll be a discussion on the book as a whole. Who knows? But yeah, I have that in February. Got monthly live streams with Ricky. Hopefully those go well and we're able to stay consistent with those. Those will be a lot more structured than these. Where these, it's like I don't really have like a prepared like script or topics. I'm just kind of going with the flow and talking to chat a lot. Main focus on chat in these streams. That's those streams will probably be way more of a focus on like scripted stuff we already have done. You know, we'll try to interact with chat when we can type situation. I have another collab with JC I'm doing in January where we're gonna talk about. I think we're doing two videos if I'm not wrong on. One of them is gonna be on his channel because he's not somebody that likes Daenerys all that much, and I thought that would be a really interesting topic for him to do. So I was like, hey, you know, I'll collab with you if you want on your channel. But um, yeah, I can't remember what the other one we're doing. Oh, the other one we're doing is on Cersei and how we believe she's going to get back to Casterly Rock after, like, towards the end of the book or into the beginning of Dream of Spring. Because how does she? If she goes by land, well, you have young Griff who's going to be in the Crownlands about to take King's Landing. Is she going to slip past them? Is she going to leave right before they kind of enter the Crownlands? How then does she get to Casterly Rock given the state of the Riverlands? There's a lot of that. Does she go by sea? Well, how does she go by sea? The Stepstones have pirates on them. Moraine Waters is around that area. You have Euron, which this could be the way. Maybe Euron captures her, and maybe they form some sort of alliance. That's something that's I'm very much looking forward to in the next month. I got to finish off the Dance with Dragons retrospective, which is probably going to take, I would say, one more week, maybe 1 or 2 more weeks, because I don't want to just put out like 4 Dance with Dragons videos in a week. But I have 2 going out this week. I have probably next week I'll do the chapter ranking video, conclusion, and then I might just, I don't know, I might post on like an off day. Like my normal post days are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. On one of those off days, I might just drop the compilation of all the Dance Dragon material, which will probably be over, I would guess it's going to be around 6 hours. But it's not going to take a lot of time because all I'm doing is just splitting all that content, like taking out the intros. But I got a lot of that planned. I want to get done with that. And then I don't know if I'm going to do like a retrospective on Storm of Swords this year. I'm kind of in between on it because when I finish A Clash of Kings, which will probably hopefully be by the end of this year, I don't know if I then want to go back then and reread like in a detailed version Storm of Swords right after doing a retrospective of it that year. So I'm kind of mixed on doing a Storm of Swords retrospective. So I was thinking, okay, maybe do I do a retrospective of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Given a fact that, you know, that's coming out, it wouldn't take that long because that book is very small. That could be something I could do. Could do Fire and Blood, given I love that book. And I also want to go back and read Fire and Blood very detailed for my Maester Conspiracy, big like theory stuff I want to do maybe this year. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. That's just some ideas. I want to do a House of the Dragon not season 2, but House of the Dragon retrospective in terms of how we got to House of the Dragon. Then, you know, how season 1 was received, the lead up to season 2, season 2's fallout, all that. That could be cool, Matthew. That'd definitely be cool on some of maybe the creatures and stuff like that. So instead of doing well, I like already having like the lesser known areas of Westeros, but maybe the creatures known that possibly could exist, mermen, krakens, things like that. Um, how did all the noble houses get Valyrian swords? House Mormont were not a rich or powerful house, plus they're opposite side of Dragonstone. Yeah, that's a great question as well. How did they get all these Valyrian steels? Especially if you're a family that is not very powerful. And maybe you could think about it like this. Maybe the idea is back in the time when a lot of these swords were being made, they weren't viewed like maybe they are today. Just given the fact that when Valyria was in its prominence, it wasn't as rare to find a Valyrian steel sword. So maybe there's it's a little bit of two things where it's like inflation has basically happened on Valyrian steel swords because dragons aren't around, Valyria's not around. Being able to actually make a Valyrian steel sword, that craft is completely basically gone. So maybe that's driven the price up so much now to where it's almost impossible to even buy one. So that could be part of that, and it also could be part of maybe some of these other houses when the world wasn't under one king, like in when Aegon the Conqueror comes over. Maybe there's more opportunities of gaining wealth and stuff like that. I don't know. That could be possible. That'd be very interesting. Let me write that one down as well. I think that'd be very interesting. Just a talk on the Valyrian steel swords and how maybe we know each house got them. Like if we know certain houses how they got those swords, that could be an interesting topic. Videos on extinct houses could be cool. That's something that I actually looked up, Matthew, because I still don't know who he actually saw in that vision. Because it's not made very clear. So I do think that's actually a really good video as well. I think just expanding out Bran's visions for a video, like Bran's Dance with Dragons visions, I think could be really cool. Dance with Dragons visions, extinct houses. All right. The timeline on Winds of Winter announcements. See, Dakota, I don't know. I don't personally, I don't want to do a video like that because I feel like it's been covered too many times. I just feel like so many people have made that video, and the only reason I'd make a video like that would be just for views. Like, that's what, like, anytime you see a video that says, oh, Winds of Winter announcement, Winds of Winter timeline, like, that's all for views. Like, you can't tell me you enjoyed making that video. Like, it's just for views. And it's like, every once in a while, maybe it's nice to get some views, but like, yeah. Maybe the swords are not pure Valyrian steel. Could be. That'd be a good idea. Be a good theory. Okay, this is another idea. Brandon Snow during Aegon the Conqueror, or during Aegon's conquest. Could be an interesting one. Maybe those arrows have a bigger effect on the dragons. Maybe he was trying to kill, the Targaryens. Who knows? But that is a very big, like, we don't know what that means. Like, that'd be an interesting one. That'd be a really cool one. Hi, Radical. How are you? I know what house I want to be extinct. Yeah, the Starks. We know. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by and the kind words. Do you do more videos on what you want to see in terms of Game of Thrones universe shows on HBO? Okay. Let me put that one down. So, future House of the Dragon shows. I think cool future House of the Dragon, or not House of the Dragon, but Game of Thrones related shows. I'd love to see personally Maegor and Aenys' reign. The first Blackfire Rebellion would be awesome. I think the first Dornish conquest would be awesome. What other things? I mean, of course, Robert's Rebellion, but we're not going to see that. We're just not. We're not going to see that until George, for some reason, okays it or he's passed, unfortunately. So, those are kind of the big ones, I would say. No, I mean, going through all of the Nautablog updates and laughing at the updates. Okay. So, it would just be like this for 10 minutes. I'm working on the Winds of Winter. That's what it'd be for 10 minutes. it'd be a 10-minute video going, I'm working on it, guys. Don't worry. Like that's what it would be. Yeah, the fact that like A Song by Some Fire doesn't have a really good video game is actually insane. Given its popularity and all that, like, and then this is what I think is hilarious. One of my friends like sent me like like when they trailer or premiered the game, the mobile game, and I'm just like, mobile game, guys. Who cares? It's a mobile game. Mobile games are more than like 99% of mobile games are literally just like we're trying to just get some cash. We don't care about this game. We're gonna fill it with microtransactions and all that stuff, and yeah, that's it. I'd like to see Eamon the Dragon Knight in a series. Yeah, that'd be cool, especially if they did like a first Blackfire Rebellion show and he'd be in the lead up to that. Oh, Tomas, that's a good one. That's a good one. I had thought about doing this in the past, but it got like I did one of those things where I did a poll. And people didn't want to see this as much as other things, but yeah, I'd like to do a video on the history of the Blackwood and Bracken conflict, and then also how do you solve it nowadays? Like, how would you put aside all of those differences, where you'd make peace between the two families? And that's something that's really difficult to see ever happening because say this one generation, right? They make peace. Well, that next generation, that doesn't mean they're then going to also keep that peace. They could go, oh, well, 2, 3 generations past, you guys are doing this and this, and then it starts all over again. So tough thing to try and rule over and defeat that feud. It would really help, by the way. It would really help if Westeros wasn't constantly at war every like 50 years. That would probably help. Um, Also, video idea, maybe do breakdowns on the history of the more important houses. For example, how they started, major figures. Yeah, that could be interesting. I kind of did some of that stuff before House of the Dragon came out, I believe. I don't remember if it was between season 1 or 2 or right before season 1. But I did some of the like house histories, like the Valarians and the Hightowers, and I really enjoyed doing that. So yeah, maybe house history. That could be really cool. That one though, I would say I'd want more like mysterious houses or things where like as I'm like researching them, we have to figure out, okay, how did this happen? Like for instance, the Valarians. It's great to understand like how did their house kind of fall over the years. Like that's a really fun one for me. Um, I want to see when the Targaryens went to the north. How did Jaehaerys think when his dragon didn't go beyond the wall? How did the fight the wildlings beyond the wall? That'd be interesting to see just more of the north, yeah. Like some of the conflicts. Maybe we see some of the stuff between the Boltons and the Starks. That would be cool as well. I think George saying he'll most likely not release Winds of Winter is a mistake because it could lessen motivation to finish the books if for some reason a person hasn't read the current books. Um, So George, I don't think he said that he'll most likely not. That I don't think he ever said that, Radical. I'm pretty sure, like, if you're relating to the last thing that came out about him, the thing that he said was not that he thinks most likely it'll not come out. He said more or less like, oh, maybe it won't, right? Like if I die tomorrow, yeah, it's not gonna come out. So I don't know if that's what you mean or not, but yeah. But I do definitely agree with the sentiment. Like, for instance, one of my friends didn't want to read the books after watching the show because the books aren't finished. But like as years have gone by, he's kind of come a little bit closer to the idea of reading them. But who knows? I think you should read them regardless of the series not being done. I know it sucks the series isn't done and it probably won't ever be done, but I do think like what we have even now is still fantastic. Agreed, Dakota. Victorian Greyjoy is the goat. He's good. He's a fun read. He's, in my opinion, he's not the most interesting like character in the world, but or the most, I shouldn't say interesting, but he's not the character like I think is like that great compared to other POV characters and stuff like that. Video on what you think the others want, maybe Matthew, but I feel like I've made that a couple of times. Like I've made a video on that. Like I kind of do updates on that like, every once in a while, but yeah, maybe. Fair. I've only read one Witcher book, and it wasn't even the first one. So I want to get into Witcher stuff as well, but I just got more stuff on my mind. But how are you doing, Radical? Hope you had a good Christmas. I'd love to see a video where you list out all the theories for wins you objectively think these days will happen. Oh, that'd be a good one. Maybe do like a maybe a tier list would work the best. So like have let's have like basically the most popular theories of wins of winter and then rank them on like I definitely think it's gonna happen, probable, neutral, not likely, and won't. Like something like that. That could be really cool. But how are you doing as well? I had a fairly decent Christmas. Like I can't complain too much. I was having some back issues around Christmas, which it is what it is. I just have back issues off and on. But let me write that down. Killer wins theory. Okay, you guys got some good ideas, by the way. Thank you for all the suggestions. It helps a ton. Trust me, it does. It helps a ton. Because I won't lie, going the very end of the year, like getting towards right before the Christmas event, I was really struggling on video ideas. But I hope you had a good Christmas as well, McLean. Um, Books are better than the show. Yeah, so this is my thing though. Like Crab, he didn't want to read the books almost purely just because they weren't done. Like the show was done, like when we started watching, like when I watched it with him. So he was like, yeah, he wanted to see what the hype was about and why I liked it so much. But like I told him, you should read the books. Like the books are very different than the show and are better in my opinion. And he was like, I don't know, I don't want to put all this commitment into like a book series that I'm never gonna find out the end of it. So I don't know. Totally agree that the books are worth reading even without the Winds of Winter and Enduring Spring. Yeah, Car, I agree, 100%. Yeah, I think we will get Winds of Winter Radical. I just don't think we'll see anything else. Matthew, see Matthew, you're pumping out some great video ideas. The problem is I've like where the fuck is Uncle Benjamin? I've probably done that video 2 to 3 times on this channel. Now each one has gotten better. Let's say that like each video I've done on the topics that you're suggesting has been better than the last one because they've been more detailed and all that. But I don't know. I don't know. That's one like I did last year. Like I did that literally for the event. I talked about Benjin and Cold Hands and all that stuff, but maybe. Ashley isn't getting any foot rubs if she doesn't show up. Well, Ashley's missing out. Video about possible marriages for love or political convenience and their consequences. So do you mean in terms of like Winds of Winter, like the main story? Or are you talking about like throughout the history of the universe? Like possible marriages that could have happened and what that would have changed. So, for instance, like Cersei Rhaegar. What if Lyanna hadn't gone for Rhaegar and Robert and Lyanna had actually been married, or what Ned and Ashara, whatever. Like that would be interesting. I mean, I could do probably on both of those ideas, but um, just say possible marriage. That works. Um, I think Night of the Seven Kingdoms will get me more hyped for the Game of Thrones universe again. House of the Dragon season 2? Maybe take a break for a bit now. But yeah, Radical. I think that's kind of how a lot of people feel. I can feel that on my channel, like not a ton, I guess, but like I can feel that the overall excitement, the overall mood people have towards a Song of Ice and Fire content or the universe of House of the Dragon, whatever, Game of Thrones universe, whatever you want to call it, definitely like went down, like between House of the Dragon ending, and I think part of that is okay. Yeah, we're not in the season now, right? We got another year till something else comes out, bring back the excitement, but it's also just the way House of the Dragon season 2 ended that I think didn't help that. What characters are you hoping to see in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms? The characters I'm most excited to see, obviously to me, are Maekar Targaryen and Baelor Breakspear. I personally just love those characters, and especially what we're gonna get in the first season. We will see both of those characters. I really am excited to see how they do both of those characters because I really like both of them, especially Maekar. Akar has been the character that I've grown the fondest of in the last like year or two. So yeah. Also, I've restarted rewatch or rereading Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I started that last night, so I'm excited to maybe do some content on things that expire or excite me to do on that. I will write down because I've been kind of like really like looking at the text when I've been reading on Dunk and the theory that he actually wasn't knighted. I think that's a really interesting theory that I want to make a video on. I did a reaction to it of another YouTuber who doesn't really post anymore. But I think that'd be a really good video for me to do on my own. But we'll see. We'll see how I do on that one. Um, if you had to give a percentage chance, we get Winds of Winter, and then same for Paul. I would say my percentage chance of us getting wins, I would say is like 85%. I think it's very likely we will see it at some point. Now, when that point is, I don't know. But I think regardless, if we go down let's say we're 10 years from now, and George is what? Closer to his 90s now. Hopefully he lives to 100, whatever. But I think even if George, whenever he passes, hasn't released Winds of Winter, I think it will be released at some point, right? Like it will be released. What he has, we will see because of money or whatnot. But Dream of Spring, I would give it maybe like I don't want to be too negative, but I'll say like a 20-25% chance. I feel like that's pretty high. I just don't see a way we get a Dream of Spring just based upon the fact that I think it could be likely Winds of Winter gets split. I could see him having to need another book to go in between Winds of Winter and a Dream of Spring. I just don't see us getting a Dream of Spring. Now, I'm going to leave a chance in there. Maybe George, has somebody help him, and maybe as he gets older, he realizes he needs help, and maybe he has another writer. I'll give it an outside chance, but I don't feel that great about a Dream of Spring. Winds of Winter not getting released is like Battlefront 3 never. Okay, Dakota, you read my mind because I've been watching a lot of videos on retrospectives of Battlefield or Battlefront 1 and 2 and things like that, and talking about why we didn't get a Battlefront 3. Really big shame. It's a really big shame that EA is as greedy as they are, but Benjamin got lost in the liquor store. It is known. Benjamin went on a hunting trip and hasn't been back in a few days. It would fit John's storyline. His mother's not present in his life. His father went to the capital to get away from him. And then he goes to the wall with his uncle, who's also kind of like a father figure to him. And he goes missing as soon as John basically gets there. So it would fit some themes. Hi, JC. How are you? I know it's getting tougher to do content since we have no new books. Maybe you could do videos on other fantasy books. Just a thought. Also, happy almost New Year's, man. Yeah, JC, I don't know. It's interesting because I've done that type of content on my second channel, and I don't know. I think if I ever ran out of like if I got to the point where I didn't want to talk about Song of Ice and Fire anymore, I would maybe get to that point like how you do. You talk about a lot of other different books and things like that. Maybe in the future. I'm not at that point. Like I still have a lot of things that I would love to do videos on, and so maybe if I ever got to the point, I would. But yeah. Also, I just saw Ashley join, so Dakota's really excited. But yeah, definitely, maybe in the future, or maybe if I get back into my second channel. I think there was a lot of things that put me off from doing the second channel. One of those is just like the Lord of the Rings community. I just was like very fed up with the Lord of the Rings community. They're not the most kind of people in that community, or maybe at least I shouldn't say the community. Maybe I should say the community that found my videos. They are not the kindest of people. That's all I'll say. But yeah, I hope you have a great new year, and looking forward to some of our future content as well, JC. I might have leaked some of the stuff that we're going to be doing in the future, but yeah. I want to see Arian. Yeah, that's another good one. It'll be, Arian, they got to do him right. He's kind of like a Joffrey character. I'm excited to see him on screen, but you got to give one hell of a performance to do Arian. Do you think we see a Dunk and Egg novella before wins at this pace, especially with the series coming soon? I definitely think there's a possibility. I don't want that to be true because I'd rather get wins more than the Dunk and Egg novellas. Again, I am someone that likes the Dunk and Egg novellas, and I love them for what they are. But the Dunk and Egg novellas are very short. They're like, to me, if you stack them up against, oh, how much do I like Dunk and Egg novella versus Clash of Kings, I'm gonna be like, I like Clash of Kings way more. It's just way bigger. There's just more great content in there than the small, great content that is Dunk and Egg. So I don't know. I know a lot of people maybe see a different side of that. Other people really love the Dunk and Egg novellas even more than the main series books, and I'm just not one of those people. Um, North fans will be happy if we get Winterfell and Night of the Sea of Seven Kingdoms. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I want at least a glimpse of young Maester Aemon at some point in Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We will. We 100% will. I definitely expect that we will. One thing about Dream is that I think it'll be quicker, right? Simply because the pieces will. Yeah, I think so. But Matthew, you got to put it from this perspective, right? So, George is what, 76 years old? I always forget his age. I think he's 76 right now. So, hold on. Does it say his age on? Age. He's 76 years old. Let's say that Winds of Winter is released, when he's 80. So let's say another 4 years from now. I mean, he's going to be 80 years old and he hasn't even started A Dream of Spring, the last book of the series. We hope. I mean, if he can even get it down to 7 books, that'd be a miracle. But, put it at that, like, it's still going to take a little while, right? Like, maybe it's quicker, right? Like, you guys are probably, the best case scenario is that because he has it so much figured out by the end of Winds of Winter, that it only takes him a couple years. It's something like Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, and Storm of Swords, where those books were like 2 years apart. Maybe something like that could happen. I would say you give him a little bit more time because George was much younger at that point. He was able to work probably more longer hours, stressful hours, all that stuff. So like maybe you say, okay, maybe 4 or 5 years after Winds of Winter comes out, he's able to finish Dream of Spring. Even at that, right? Even at this very sped up timeline, he still would be 84 to 85 years old by the time Dream of Spring came out. That's why I just, I push back on that idea that like, oh yeah, it's because, he writ Dream or not Dream of Spring, Winds of Winter, and that he got through it, that Dream of Spring would come much quicker. I think that's true, but also maybe not true at the same time. Also, once again, hi Ashley, how are you? That's actually crazy radical. I did not know that. Grease, you look good in that blue, that shade of blue. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. I did notice I have this jacket on in one of my recordings for the week, and I was like, yeah, I look good in that. But thank you. Lord of the Rings Twitter worse than A Song of Ice and Fire? I have no idea. I have no idea. Not on Twitter. I had problems with the Lord of the Ring community in YouTube. Like on YouTube, it was bad. It was really bad. If you are a gamer, Grease, I highly recommend playing Witcher 3, or if you have a good computer, Witcher 1 and 2. See, my thing about that is at some point I will read the Witcher series, and I don't want any of the video games to spoil whatever's in the books. I don't know if they're related like that at all, but I don't want that to happen. So, also, yes, Ashley, he was definitely like simping for you before you got in the chat. I will say that. I will say that. Dunk and Egg is my favorite of all the A Song of Ice and Fire books. I think I like how personal and self-contained they are. Yeah, something the Dunk and Egg books do really well is they kind of give you that Lord of the Rings feeling. Like, what I mean by that is when you're reading the Dunk and Egg fellas, you really like feel like you're on this journey with the characters of Dunk and Egg. I think the way that George writes those books comparatively to A Song of Ice and Fire is you feel like you're more on that journey with them, and you feel like you're more like integrated in it. Like it's better escapism, I think, than A Song of Ice and Fire is. Where A Song of Ice and Fire is like you're seeing the perspective of a lot of high lords and ladies and things like that, and it's not as personal. It's not as like you're seeing the nitty gritty of the world outside of like a couple of POVs here and there. So I definitely think I definitely understand why people really like Dunk and Egg. I just wish we had more of it. Like, I would say, yeah, Dunk and Egg is way better, than say some of the other books. We just don't have that much of it, right? Like, those are very short novellas and books. Um, if you could have George on this live stream, Grease, what would you first ask him? Okay, so this is an interesting question because I've thought about this in the past. I've always tried to figure out or understand, like, if I'm going to ask George something, it has to be something that he can answer. I can't ask him, "Oh, when is Winds of Winter going to come out?" or "What's going to happen to this character in Winds of Winter?" or something that he's never going to reveal. Right? It would be questions that I know I could get an answer from, or something that would be more interesting, right? So, like, if I asked him, for instance, I got asked, what would the Blackfire sigil be? I could ask George, will we see what the Blackfire sigil is in coming projects? Whether that be Fire and Blood Part 2, whether that be in, whether in the shows, whatever. I could actually get an answer for that. Like, I'm not telling him to tell me what the actual sigil is, but I'm asking him, will we actually see that in the future? Or will we see it in the, Night of the Seven Kingdoms novellas? Will we get that? So those are the things that I've thought about, asking him. I really want to ask him this, but I don't think I'd actually get an answer. I want to ask him more about Aegon the Conqueror's letter he gets from Dorne and what was exactly in it. I'd love to hear what he would say to that question. But yeah, all the questions I would ask probably wouldn't even be Winds of Winter related because I know he wouldn't actually give that great of an answer that I would actually want to hear. Yeah. Would it have been more doable if Game of Thrones was a trilogy of books? So, if you're saying it in terms of just he ended after Storm of Swords, or he reworked it to basically make it be 3 books for the old story, it wouldn't work. Like, we've known in the past that the idea was that Dany was supposed to come over in book 2. That makes 0 sense. Given where Dany is at the end of book 1, that makes no sense. Now, could he have done it at the end of book 3? Yes. Daenerys could have, he could have gone back in the past if maybe he realized how long it was going to take him to do things. He very easily could have just said Dany is going to come over in Dance with Dragons, and that would have sped up the Essos plot. But yeah, who knows? I hope George is still around when I'm his current age. You never know. You never know. Life does crazy stuff. Let's say Winds comes out in the next 3 years or so. Do you think there's a chance we get a book not in the main series? And if so, how would you feel? So yeah, Paul, we definitely could. If let's say Winds of Winter was released in the next 3 years, let's say it's released 2027, in December. It definitely could. I think we would probably get a novella for the Night of the Seven Kingdoms before we got Fire and Blood Part 2. But for me personally, if we got Winds of Winter, I would be perfectly okay with George doing some of the other stuff, doing a Night of Seven Kingdoms, Fire and Blood. I'd be okay with that because I have already kind of come to the rationale that I don't think we're going to get Dream of Spring as much as I'd love to see it be finished. I would just be thankful at that point that we got Winds of Winter and we're going to get anything else, that George wants to write before, he passes. So I would love that. I would love to, personally, I want to see Fire and Blood Part 2 before, he's not able to write anymore. Because I love Fire and Blood. I love Fire and Blood way more than the normal community does. I really enjoy that book. I'd love to see a part 2 in the same style. I think it'd be really juicy and interesting when we got to the Blackfire rebellions that we don't know anything about. Like the third, the fourth, we almost know nothing about. I'd love to know more about the War of the Nine Penny Kings. That's all stuff we would possibly get in, Fire and Blood Part 2. There's just so much, like Aegon's reign, or Aegon the Fifth's reign, I should say. We've gotten a bit about it, but we haven't gotten a ton about it. It'd be so cool to get more on that. But I would say, Paul, to go back to your question, I would be completely fine with it. After we got done with Winds. Ooh, Dakota got a new gun. You love to see that. I hate the crock pot. No hate to my mom or my dad or anything, but man, I really hate stuff that's made in the crock pot. I've been scarred for life because of that. The Witcher games are after the books. Okay, cool. All right, then I might play them or whatever. Well, no, because then if they're after the books, wouldn't they spoil what comes before the books? See, this is what I'm saying. This is the questions I ask. Um, Ashley needs to get a new crock pot as well. Well, if you guys get married or something, you don't need to get one, Ashley. That's all I'm saying. Um, Forgive my ignorance, but do we know if Ryan Condal is involved with the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms? Actually, don't know. Let's find out. I'll give you a definitive answer right now. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Ryan Condal. Let's see if he's involved. If it pops up in anyone. Um, I'm seeing that he like initially pitched a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, but I don't know if he's actually a producer. Is Ryan Condal involved with a Knight of the Seven? I think he is involved. From what I'm seeing, I think he's involved, but I don't know to what extent. I believe, hold on. Yeah, so Ryan Condal is an executive producer. From the source I'm looking at, he is an executive producer for Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which is not a good sign. Which is not a good sign. So, yeah, unfortunately. Yes, Ashley, unfortunate, but yeah. Could there be a book solely dedicated to the Blackfires and the Rebellions? Yes. I think that'd be a really, really great idea for George to do. Or if he wanted to do this, right, where he has fire and blood, but he wanted to make it like blood and fire, make it be about the Blackfire. Because I've said, like, for the words for the Blackfires, it would make sense if they did just like how they did basically the sigil, like that, how they reverse the colors. Be cool. It would make sense if they reverse the words as well. I'm turning 28 in 2 weeks, Grease. Well, happy early birthday to you. You know, I'm going to be 25 in March. I feel like I'm getting old. What would you like to see in Fire and Blood Part 2? I feel like I kind of answered this before you even asked it, Crab. But, you know, I'd personally love to see the Blackfire Rebellion stuff. I'd love to see kind of more of Aegon the Third's kind of reign. But, yeah, because we'd only get like a small part of his reign at the end of the book, but I'd love to see a little bit more about it. See more about Viserys the Second. That would be really cool as well. Think of all the spin-off shows that could come out if Fire and Blood Part 2 is ever finished or published. Yes, agreed. See, Kara, we're always on the same like wavelength though. Like we always share the same opinions because every time I say this, I said this in the last stream. Every time we always agree on things. I agree if we get wins, I wouldn't mind at all if he went off and did some projects he wants to do, but I also love Fire and Blood, one of my favorites. Agreed. Grease, how on earth do you hate food from a crock pot? It's the coziest. Well, to be fair, the only things I really ever had from a crock pot, and I used to hate this, especially when I was in high school, is we would always get like beef stew, and it wasn't good beef. Like chicken and dumplings in the crock pot's pretty solid, but man, beef stew in the crock pot, the way I don't know if it's like just because it was in there all day and it just didn't taste very good, or it was just the kind of beef stew we had wasn't good. I dreaded those days when I came home from school and saw the crock pot. All I'm saying. I still can't believe that, Crab, your first book was Fire and Blood. I think that's wild. Because the thing about Fire and Blood that I think is actually true is Fire and Blood is a book that is made for people that already are invested in A Song of Ice and Fire. It's not necessarily the best book if it's your first book. So I'm actually surprised that one, you got through, that book or whatever. and then also you still like wanted to get more into the community. I think that's actually crazy. I agree, Car, and that's why like my wiggle room, like gave House of the Dragon much more wiggle room in terms of okay, what should they be adapting, how should they be adapting, changing, and all that stuff. That is not the same with Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, if they start changing stuff that seem like more minor, I'm still going to be a hard ass about it because there is no reason to change things in a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. The story is perfectly there already. The dialogue's there. The characterizations are already there. Everything is already there for you that you don't need to act like you are better than George R. R. Martin at writing. It's all there for you. So, yeah. Okay, Radical. See, that's what I need to hear. I'm probably not going to play the games until I read that series. So Dakota and Ashley are getting married. I better be getting invited. If not, then I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. If I don't get invited, I will be dropping a diss track on the channel. So, yeah. I wish there was more on Balon and Aemon. How does Daemon become the man he is in Fire and Blood? Balon seems like the opposite. Yeah, those are two characters I would have loved to get more on. I think what we have of them is already pretty good. That's why they made my top 100 video, but yeah, I don't know. I think it would be nice to get more of them. I'm done with House of Dragon. I rely on you all for I will say, here's how I'll say about House of the Dragon. In terms of me actually liking the show or being deeply invested in the show, that time is over. You know? That's all I'll say. Hi, Vlad. How are you? I've never had chili from a words. They're very tough. Chili from a crock pot is something I've never had before. I'm Eris the second, or Eris as he should have been. Fair enough. Fair enough, Eris. Fair enough. I watched a lot of your videos and a ton of the other lore channels to fill in the other bits. Fair. Fair. Grease for executive producer. Give Ricky that job. He's more the Knight of the Kingdom stickler, but I would have loved being an executive producer for House of the Dragon. That's the one I would have liked to be an executive producer of, because I, like House of the Dragon, would have actually adapted Rhaenyra as she should have been. But whatever, because we all got to have the Rhaenyra that's the hero of the story. That's totally what the dance is about. All I got to say. I can officiate. I don't know about that. I don't like public speaking. I don't want to do that. I just want a good seat. That's all. I just want a good seat. If they ever do White Walker stuff in Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, if the White Walker stuff, okay, in House of the Dragon, it made no sense to do the White Walker stuff, but like I could see maybe their angle. If there is even a mention of the White Walkers in a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, I will be having a full breakdown. Very similar to episode 8 of season 2 of House of the Dragon. I will have once again another breakdown. Ricky this time will probably be even more of a breakdown than I will be. His love for this book is like maybe not more, but equivalent to my love of Fire and Blood. There will be some things. Yeah, I don't know. Also, I wanted to say, because I forgot to bring this up, I played the Dragon Age Origins soundtrack in honor of Dragon Age, and honoring, the dead series that it is now. Dragon Age Veilguard was right up there with the disappointment that was, not Dragon Age, was, let me know what the super chat was. Okay. Thank you, Paul, for the support. Appreciate you. If you do have any questions or whatnot, you can ask them and all that. But I did, I feels bad, right? The video game series that I loved the most was Dragon Age, and Veilguard killed it. I'm not going to go into it too much, but just look up reviews for it. I don't know. Veilguard was butt cheeks. Also, thank you, Maddie, for being a member for 6 months. Appreciate you. But yeah. It was a bad It was a bad 2024. But yeah, Jim, hopefully, especially with A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, I expect it to be good. We'll have some more positivity in the community. But yeah. Uh Grease, what do you think about George's wish to have started House of the Dragon much sooner, starting with the height of Aemon and Balon's relationship? I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense to start earlier in House of the Dragon. Problem with that is they wanted 10 episodes, and the starting point they had needed 12 episodes. So, in theory, it would have been great because I think it would have been awesome to explore the relationships that created the people like Daemon, like Viserys, like Rhaenys and Corlys and all that stuff. Like, but I don't know. They just didn't have enough time. Yes, the hero who starves for people and gets the dragons killed while it plays triumphant music. How do you think Rhaenyra and Daenerys would react to one another if they? So this Ashley, this very much depends on at what point of their lives they meet each other. Like if Rhaenyra meets Daenerys towards the end of her like life, she would probably view Daenerys in a very like, okay, you were once me, very innocent to the world and all that type of talk. Kind of how like Rhaenys is to Rhaenyra, but if it was Rhaenyra when she was a bit younger, I think the two would get along quite a lot. But yeah. Play Radical, play Dragon Age Origins, fantastic. Dragon Age 2, it's not great, but I don't think it's bad either. I think if you, given the full context of that show and the development, or not the show, but the game and its development, I think it's a solid game. And then Inquisition, again, has its problems, but I think it's a pretty good narrative. I think it's pretty good, like, characters, stuff like that. It just has a lot of filler. Love to see that. Love to see that. Well, Vlad, do you want to be called Eris or Vlad? That's the question. Prime Rhaenyra versus Prime. Oh, Prime Rhaenyra is smoking Prime Daenerys. Like, Daenerys, her dragons, if we're talking about, like, Dragonoff, like, Rhaenyra is a better dragon rider than Daenerys. Daenerys can't even control her dragon to go back to Meereen. Rhaenyra is clapping. She is just destroying Daenerys. And that's not even because I like Rhaenyra more than Daenerys. It's because Rhaenyra is just the GOAT. I heard Veilguard wasn't good. Where should I start with Dragon Age games, Grease? Again, start from Origins and then play 2 and 3. Well, Dragon Age 3 is Inquisition, but it's not called Dragon Age 3. I don't know. But just play those and then don't play Veilguard. I mean, you can play Veilguard. It's just not very good, but, you know. I think Rhaenyra would try to kiss Daenerys for no reason at all. Maybe. Okay, I'm gonna say this, right? Why, can somebody answer this to me? Why is like the Twitter of House of the Dragon community so obsessed with like Rhaenyra and Daemon and act like this is like the best relationship ever? Does anybody else find that weird? Like Daemon literally grooms Rhaenyra. Like, is that not a bad thing? Like, what? They're also related. He also chokes Rhaenyra like in like a not a like trying to kill her way in season 1. And then you can also tell that like that physical abuse literally spooks Rhaenyra because of their argument in season 2. Like, it's weird. It's weird. It tells me a lot about people. That's all I'm. It's weird. 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 I don't know. I agree, Jay. I agree. I too read Fire and Blood first. I watched the show after it was all out already. Hated the ending, so then I just started reading the books in order. So I started with Fire and Blood. Paul, I love to see that. You love to see that. Fire and Blood. It's an underappreciated book. It's overhated, and I will stand on that. I'll say. I think Daenerys would view Rhaenyra as a tyrant and fight against her to liberate the Velaryon / Driftmark from her. Yeah, I think Daenerys could see that as well. I could see that. I don't know. I could also see Daenerys understanding Rhaenyra's plight because of her struggles in ruling in Meereen. But I don't know. They're simps. Fair. See, Kara, we're always agreeing. It's just weird. Twitter shippers are the worst thing to ever happen to fiction. I won't say no on that one. Even Emma Darcy said the relationship is toxic. It is toxic. I don't know how you can not see it any other way. I don't know. I don't know. Daemon is clearly a villain, but according to the writers, he's not. Daemon is literally the villain of season 1. Like, I literally said this. House of the Dragon needed somebody to be the big villain, and they chose Daemon for that season. Daemon is very, like, fun to watch. He's like Victarion in a way, but, like, he's a villain all the same. That doesn't make him less entertaining. Grease is broken always. I rewatched Shrek today. What if Shrek is life? All I got to say. If you know, you know. I don't know what to say. I think Viserys and Emma had the healthiest relationship. Rhaenys and Corlys are a close second, but Corlys is at times a terrible husband. I agree, Ashley. I agree. Daemon in season 2 started to have a really good character, development moment, and then they pissed it away. So, yeah, it is very sad. Let's not talk about season 2. That's a rabbit hole we don't want to go down. I also want to say congratulations to Matthew Stewart in chat. He won the Fantasy Football League this year. I know there's 1 week to go, but my team had a generational bad week. Generational bad. My team has scored like 120 points every week. They're probably going to. That was kind of depressing. I won't lie. Over Christmas, kind of depressing. But it is what it is. You can't win them every year. Okay? You can't win them every year. Out of the Seven Kingdoms will be 6 weeks of watching Ricky to see if he has a Grease breakdown from House of the Dragon Season 2 finale. It's true. It is true. It is true. If Night of the Seven Kingdoms is not good, Ricky will have a meltdown. I don't know when. I don't know if it'll happen, at the end or what'll happen, but it will happen. I won't be as, like, heated. I'll be, like, very, like, disappointed and stuff, but it won't be like Maegor, or I should say Grease the Cruel level, okay? But it won't be me recording a video at midnight for members where I'm just like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. They butchered Daemon and Alicent and probably Rhaenyra. It won't be like that. It'll just be like, wasn't very good. Yeah. Things have happened, Eric. I could lay an egg. See, you say that, but like, do you know how bad of an egg you'd have to drop? And how, like, okay, let's just say, for argument's sake, George Kittle scores 15 points tonight. Okay, that'd be solid, that would get me to like 90 points. I'd be going into the next week with a 55-point hole. I'd have to make up 55 points. Now let's say your team has a generational bad week, okay? Let's say you score 90, 80 points. I would still have to score like 150, 160 points. Very low odds. Like, we're talking very low odds. And I know I pulled some tomfoolery and luck-wise. I've had some really clutch wins in the regular season, but, like, that's wild, even for me. But yeah. Hashtag cancel Ricky. Don't cancel Ricky. Then you'll be missing out on an extra live show each month, Dakota, you silly goose. I would rather rewatch the last 3 seasons of Grey's Anatomy than to watch the last season of House of the Dragon. Yeah, fair enough. Scary Terry, see, I can't hate on Scary Terry though. Scary Terry, he's been my guy. But yeah, he was struggling against AJ Terrell, and even when he was open, like he was open at times in that game, and either Jaden Daniels was not throwing him the ball or he was giving him bad throws. So mix of things. So here's the thing, Radical. When I have those quote unquote breakdowns, a lot of the times I play up that because I know it's entertaining. Like, it's me, yes, being angry, disappointed, and like pissed off, but it's also me realizing that it's more entertaining for me to play that up for you guys than it is like if I'm just like, well, it was bad. like, yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, it is a show. I'm trying to entertain you guys, so. Dakota, don't talk about baseball. Baseball's not it. So, it's my girlfriend's birthday. Had to sneak away from the table to say hello. We'll say happy birthday to her, Kenshin. I hope she had a great day, and hopefully you treated her to a great day as well. And you did good with whatever, you got her, or dinner, or whatever you did. But, yeah. He misgendered me and must make amends. Well, you are a Frey supporter, so some people would say that that's allowed. Not me. I'm not one of those people that discriminates against Frey supporters, but other people, all I'll say. Ashley, yeah, I don't want to even think about it. But yeah, you're right. Will you have Ricky and Advocate on streams as we get closer to a night of the South? I don't know exactly what the plan is yet for the after episode like stuff, but more than likely it'll definitely be me and Ricky. I don't know if JC wants to be on for those streams or whatever. I haven't had that planned out, but yeah, me and Ricky will definitely be doing a show after. It'll just depend if Jay. Also, hi Violet, how are you? I see you lurking in chat. Yeah, I think a lot of people will be upset if Dunkin' Egg isn't good. I think Dunkin' Egg is the last chance for House of the or for HBO. If they mess up Dunkin' Egg, I mean, there's just no point of making any type of Song of Ice and Fire show anymore. Dakota, it was not me, but some people within the community would say, bad things about you because you're a Frey supporter. Angry Ashley, I agree, Dakota. Angry Ashley is a great time. At this point, I don't trust HBO with anything in the Song of Ice and Fire universe. I gave them grace with House of the Dragon, but I'm not doing it anymore. Fair enough. I don't blame you. Freys did nothing wrong. See? Crab's a supporter. Agreed, Joseph. And I was willing to allow it to, pass because they were trying to, deeply delve into Damon's character. But they just threw that away, too, so it just didn't work. Put it this way, Joseph. He went from being entertaining, but, purely a, bad villain character, not a morally gray character in Season 1, to a character in Season 2 that doesn't make any sense. His motives don't make any sense. He as a character doesn't function, and now he's also not entertaining either. So, yeah. Walder was simply defending as, hey, you guys don't got to tell me this. I'm just telling you what the haters will say. Okay? I don't trust HBO. Don't blame me at all. Anyone else think the HBO Harry Potter show is going to be a pile of shit? Honestly, wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, well, no, Radical, this is my opinion. If they mess up Dunkin' Egg, I do not want them to touch anything else in A Song of Ice and Fire. Now, will they because of greed? Possibly if George lets them. I don't know, whatever they can do there, but yeah, I don't know. The Freys did everything wrong. Here we go, Ashley. You're giving in to Dakota. You know he's trying to get you flustered. HBO should do a Witcher show. Probably ruin that too. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for joining the stream. I'll see you guys in the next year. I hope you guys all enjoy. I hope you guys, the background hasn't changed that much, to be honest. It looks kind of the same. It's just more zoomed in. But I hope you guys all enjoy. Ghost comes in right as I'm doing the close. But hi, Ghost. How are you?